Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. I've got a interesting article. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. So this will be a first for both of us. This is Gen Z youth is totally restructuring the way researchers visualize happiness. And it's not good, according to Rebecca Rakowitz. Gee, I wonder, does she live in New York? Happiness is a hard thing to quantify. How do you take a subjective feeling and make it a fact? It's something researchers have grappled with, and that subjectiveness is why most studies about happiness or any emotion have to be taken with a grain of salt. But for a long time, researchers have thought about the human experience of happiness as a U-shaped line graph. People are typically really happy in their youth. Oh, the joys of adolescence. What? And that feeling dips as they reach middle age. Yeah, because it's called reality, and it sets in. Here comes that proverbial crisis. And then, as adults get even older, they begin to feel as content as they were when they were young. Bring on the golden years. New research is quite literally squashing that idea. Instead of a you, Generation Z is so unhappy that their early years are more in line with the happiness levels of middle age. What does that mean? Basically, researchers have to start thinking of happiness as more of a J than a U. Okay. This weekend, a collection of papers in natural mental health based on a collaboration between Harvard and Baylor University, and the findings were bleak. The data, which comprised of self-reported study of more than 200,000 people in over 20 studies, found that people ages 18 to 29 were generally struggling with happiness, physical and mental health, perceptions of their own character and their ability to find meaning in life, the quality of their relationships, and their financial security. Like we said, bleak. These findings are part of the first wave of data from the Global Furnishing Study, and as you probably guessed, it found that most participants in Western countries had lower levels of flourishing, aka not living in a state where all aspects of life were good until they hit the age of 50. I don't know, could student loan debt have anything to do with that? Or the fact that they just won't grow the fuck up after high school? Seems to be a whole lot of that going on. It's a pretty stark picture, and Taylor J. Vanderweel, the lead author of the study and director of Harvard's Human Flourishing Program, per the New York Times. And so the question becomes, as Vanderweel asked, are we sufficiently investing in the well-being of youth? Okay, you're young, which means you have the physical ability and probably the mental flexibility to overcome hardships. Life is not supposed to be easy for you at that age. So this whole thing of, it's not good now, so I'm going to be shitty about my life, probably not a good look. No, it's... You're supposed to have hope that you're moving towards a better time in your life. It's not all fucking rainbow unicorn farts and glitter and shit, okay? That is not where you're supposed to be starting out. You're supposed to be working towards something better. So how did we end up here? And you probably have some theories, as do we. There's the abundance of research showing how detrimental social media is to young people's mental health. And climate anxiety probably doesn't help. Oh my God, it's one sentence, not three. Here we go again. And climate anxiety. That is the start of a second sentence. But perhaps there is more. That's not even a sentence. And it starts with but. You had one sentence there, and you for no reason divided it up into 3. Dr. Vanderweel said the Global Flourishing Study plans to collect data usually, oh my God. See, it gets me all flustered and then I can't read. Dr. Vanderweel said the Global Flourishing Study plans to collect data annually through 2027 and try to understand why so much of Gen Z is not flourishing. And we have to wonder, what does that mean for younger teens? Well, younger teens are just F to the oct, okay? If you ask, I'm not even going to read that first name, Simon Thomas, the science director of the Greater Good Science Center at the University of California, Berkeley. Of course, she's got a messed up name. She doesn't think it's great. Wow, they actually put a comma there and didn't turn into a second sentence that doesn't make any sense. Our welfare is dependent on the welfare of other human beings. She said, we don't just get to be happy and put our fence around ourselves. Why the not? Isn't that how it worked out west? Like you went out west, you staked your claim, your land, put a fence around it, and like 7 generations later, your family's still there ranching and farming and cowboying and being fucking happy in the middle of nowhere because we don't have a bunch of Berkeley douchebags telling us what happiness is all about. Meanwhile, if older teens and young adults are so miserable that researchers have to reevaluate what happiness looks like, their younger peers just might follow them. Is that the end of the article? Wow, there is a poop ton. What? Okay, yeah, that is the end of the article. And then it goes into fake ads. Okay. Interesting. Let me know what you think. Do they have to reevaluate what the definition of happiness is because they clearly didn't have a definition of happiness to begin with? They're just making shit up all along? Or, I don't know. Are things just that bleak? Let me know in the comment section.